Hey guys, what is up? It is Bibs87 here again, and welcome to another RuneScape 3 vlog here today. In this video, we're going to be on the new beta that was only released today. They actually didn't get it out yesterday, so it is now here and available to play from the RuneScape homepage. You can go there and click the link, and it'll open up the beta for you. I'm basically going to go over, first we're going to do the bank stuff, and then if I still have time on the video, we will go into the additional weapon diversity changes that they've made, so we can talk about those as well. But first, let's go ahead and jump into the bank, and you can obviously see it's a lot different. They've talked about all the things that they're changing, and yeah, here we have my bank, and it definitely, I don't know, I don't particularly like the change in the background color. It's a bit brighter now, but I'm sure we'll get used to that. But I kind of like the way the old bank was in terms of the color. One thing that's nice is they have the total bank space down here. They don't have it weirdly split up into like 3 different numbers. Now it's just a total. Makes a lot more sense. We've got the search down here. Let's see, potion. Okay, that was nice and fast. Nice and quick search. I like that a lot. Seemed like it was better. I don't know, maybe I'm just remembering it wrong, but it seemed a little faster. This thing is really nice. They have these filters available so we can clean stuff up. I have a bunch of junk that maybe isn't worth keeping. You can have members items only, and then these things are all just in a list, but they are in the order I think that they are in your bank, possibly. Maybe not though. Looks like they actually might not be. I'm not sure where this order is, what this order is like. And you have non-members items, worn equipment, which is definitely going to be a useful one for people who, you know, want to just have their gear, and that's it. And it's by slot too, which is a very nice thing. Like you can see all your arrows because of this quiver one, rings. I think it's really cool, these filters. Then you have tradable, non-tradable placeholders. We don't have any placeholders right now, but we're going to test that out. So let's see. Do I have placeholders on? Okay, so this is the placeholders button. It has a little cake as the symbol. So we now have placeholders activated, and we take it out, and look at that. Just like old school. That's exactly how it looks like on old school. And put it back. It goes right back there. Close the bank. We have the cape, which I can't wear because I still haven't done Anachronia stuff because I suck. But it's still there. We can put it back, and then we can remove the placeholder. And oh, that's very interesting. I didn't know they were making that change. Empty slot. So what if I turn these off? Oh, I didn't even know they were doing that. Wow. So now it's going to work kind of like the old school bank in that way. But then what if I close the bank? It just shifts, right? Yeah, so that's like the way the old bank works. I didn't know they were going to be doing that, to be honest. But that's interesting. I don't know if I would say it's good or bad, but definitely interesting. I'm sure most people will have placeholders on at all times for most of their stuff anyways. I'm actually going to have to organize my bank when this comes out, which is going to be, I don't know, it won't be bad actually. I don't mind organizing the bank since it will stay organized because we will have the placeholders, just because it's like, look at all this fucking gear. Like the way it was before, having to deal with that was such a pain. Interesting thing, like let's see, I just took out my red rune pouch which had some shit in it. Now, well, it's a different item now because it's sealed, so that doesn't count. But let's see if I just put in one item, and it should still go there, I would assume. Yeah, so it doesn't check like the things that are inside or anything like that. That would have been stupid. And then they've moved the buttons from down the bottom. Now they're over here. Your inventory, I like it how it's kind of highlighted in yellow there. Shows you your coin pouch there. You can just deposit your stuff. Same stuff here, but then you have the worn equipment screen up here at all times. Oh, sorry, I'm getting a phone call for some reason. Oh, this is interesting. So this means stuff you withdraw will go to your backpack as you'd expect. So if I withdraw, you know, this orb goes to my backpack. But then if I switch to this, it just equips it automatically. Wow, that is actually a very cool little change. I like that a lot. And then you obviously have your Beast of Burden, which is almost, I mean, it's going to be the same. I just don't have it out right now. So that's pretty sick. And then you can also have even more tabs now. How many tabs can you have? Oh, I like that smooth scroll animation. Damn, you can have a lot of tabs. Okay, so that's as many tabs you can have. I think that was, so we have 9 and we can have up to 15 tabs now, which is nice. I probably will only really need maybe 1 or 2 more. I didn't really have too much trouble with having not enough tabs, but there was like a couple that I could split up, which I will probably do. Mainly thinking of my hardcore, to be honest, because this bank is pretty decently organized at this point. Just need to organize my gear and stuff. It's like all my skilling, treasure hunter trash, clues, and then I don't really know what this tab is. It's got all my like Acto, got my Yaka pet, my DK pet in there, just like all this random shit, to be honest. But that's cool that we have options for more tabs now. Other than that, what else do we have? I haven't actually been on here yet. Obviously, this is my first time on here. So we have, what the fuck are these? Displays whether this preset will load. Backpack, worn, beast of burden. Oh, interesting. So you can have it saved to the preset, but toggle off it loading what you have. Oh, that's very interesting. I like that a lot. So I can then switch it this way and load it, and it'll just equip me, but it won't mess with the inventory. Oh, that's fucking sick, actually. So you can like have multi-purpose presets. If you want to use a preset only for the gear or only for the inventory, you can combine those into like one preset and then just mess with these little radio buttons to switch between the two uses. I think that's an awesome little change, and it'll be really useful. And you can easily switch on or off the beast of burden. Unfortunately, it looks like you can still only have one beast of burden preset. Like you can't have one for each. It looks like you can't have one for each, but let me pull out a yak just to test that. So that's a bit finicky with how easy that was to drag. I wish there was a way to lock it so you can't drag them at all. Let's see, let's just verify that. So if I have this and I switch over to here, what happens? Okay, overwrite. Oh shit, there's no confirmation on that? Damn, they should put a confirmation. What's this? When active, augmented items will only be loaded if the exact perks match. When inactive augmented items load, the first found item no is that the only thing that changes? Is that just augments? Interesting. Okay, so we have that. Now let's see. It looks like it didn't save my BOB stuff. Oh, and you can empty stuff from into your bank from here. That's nice. So yeah, it looks like there's still only one BOB allowed, which I think they should change. But still, this looks like it's a bit nicer and a bit easier to use. Let's see. Where's the edit though? Oh, so I guess you just edit it from here. Oh, and you can just change the name straight up. Okay, so it's less like clunky. You don't have to go into like edit mode or whatever basically to mess with these things. So that's nice. It just seems like the interface is a bit more streamlined and you can easily mess with it. You can't obviously withdraw stuff from in here, but then you just go to your bank and do whatever you want. So it seems like it's pretty well done here. I like it a lot. One thing that's just always going to be a gripe, and I don't think they're ever going to change, is people like me, I guess, who don't have the inventory the same size as like the, I guess, standard 4x7. It's going to be a bit annoying still having to look at it here when it's not actually how you're going to see it when you're using it. But yeah, it seems like this is pretty nice, although not a whole lot different, just a little bit better looking and more streamlined. What's this? Oh, interesting. You can show your worn equipment stats. These stats have honestly never really made much sense to me. I've never really understood exactly what all the numbers mean here, but hey, that button's now there if you want to check out those stats. And then we have, I think, okay, the noted button, now much more obvious if you've clicked it or not. And then we have this, which I think is like how it is on old school, where I can click 10. Let me just bank everything. I don't really care where it goes because I'm on the beta. Wait, did I not put anything in my BOB? Hold on. We might actually be able to do this. I'm not sure. I didn't actually really test it. And if this does work, then people are going to be raging at me. Okay, let's just overwrite this. Okay, we overrode it. Oh, shit. No. Wait. What? So how does that work? So now if I load... Okay, let me deposit all. Okay, so I don't have anything in my familiar. Okay. And then if I load this... Where's the fucking load there? Load. Ah. And now I have the actual BOB preset. Wait, what the fuck? That didn't make any sense to me. So I overrode it with the BOB just having sailfish in it only. And then, am I being an idiot right now? See, this is what my BOB is right now. It has 4 brews, 1 restore, sailfish. But then in here, if I overwrite, it shows that. But then like if I go out of here, maybe that's just what's in it right now. Because that was the thing with the old system, is it showed you what the preset had regardless of what you were wearing. I don't know if I'm being really stupid, but yeah, now it shows nothing. So, okay, I'm almost positive. You guys can let me know if I'm being a moron in the comments, but I'm almost positive you can only get the single BOB. One other thing that they've showed, I don't know if this is already in the game or not. Oh yeah, by the way, so now my left click is 10. This is obviously not going to be anywhere near as useful as it is on old school because you will mostly use presets to skill with. But still, it's a nice thing to have available if you don't want to change your presets and want to be a bit better with your, withdraw 14s. If you're only doing a couple of something that you won't do a whole lot and you don't want to change it, that'll be useful for that. So let's go ahead and save this preset with 5 brews on. So we have 5 brews in our invent. We're gonna overwrite. So now we have that saved. And then so this is what's on you right now, and this is the preset. So there's no slot for the summoning familiar. Okay. So now what am I gonna do? I don't know. I'm gonna take out all my brews here, and I'm gonna drop them on the floor. Because this is the beta, ain't nobody care. I'll pick them up though still. I wish to drop. And then if I want to load the preset where I don't have any 6-dose brews anymore, I can still load it and it'll pull out 5-dose brews because I have those available. So that's a pretty nice change right there. I like that a lot. I honestly don't remember if this is already in the game or not, or if it's just with this new rework. I'm pretty sure it's just with the rework. But why does it say deposit 1 twice? That's no good. Is it because I have this selected? I'm sure that'll be fixed, but that's something that's obviously stupid. But that's a very nice little change, like especially if you're maybe on Iron Man or just someone who doesn't have a whole big stock of potions. You don't have to worry too much about running out. You'll still have them pulled out. Obviously, you'll be missing a dose on all of them, which wouldn't be ideal for a high-level boss, but yeah, that's still a nice thing, especially for something like Slayer where the doses might not be as important. I like that a lot. And it seems like that's pretty much all the changes. The bank is supposed to be like more streamlined in general. The placeholders are just so fucking nice, dude. That's like all we really care about, honestly, at this point. So I just want to make sure, I'm sure they do, but I just want to make sure the placeholders work with the presets. So we have my tectonic robe top and bottom here, and we want to load that out with a preset and make sure it's there as a placeholder. Actually, if that doesn't work, I'll be kind of upset because otherwise placeholders won't be as useful. So we have the tectonic on here. So let's load that up. We had some issue. What was the issue? Could not be equipped hooded comp cape. Yeah, that's fine. Why didn't it load my inventory though? Whoa, did you see that? It flipped upside down for a second. Load. Why isn't it loading out my inventory? Why is my shit being dropped on the floor? Whoa. Okay, this looks like a bug or something. Hold on, if I spam load, is it just gonna shit all my stuff on the ground? Load, 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 load. Yeah, it's just dropping all my stuff on the ground for some reason. I don't know what the fuck's going on with that. That's some kind of crazy bug. So they need to fix that, definitely. Just shat out a bunch of bruise and sailfish down there. But it does. Okay. At least it does that. It will keep your placeholders there when you pull stuff out with the preset. Interesting how it says the charge percentage on the Tectonic, which is just simply incorrect. But I encountered some kind of weird bug. I should probably go report that somehow. But yeah, that is I think mostly all the features of the bank rework that I wanted to show off. The placeholders are the main thing. Extra tabs is nice. And the search seems a bit better. The filters are really cool. I hope they expand on those and maybe allow you to make your own, perhaps, like a filter for, I don't fucking know, honestly, what you would make a filter for. Like Slayer loot, you could make your own filter for your Slayer loot and you could check it out, all that you had. I don't know, guys. That's just my thoughts on that. Could be pretty sweet if you could do your own, but yeah, those are some nice changes. Can I fuck with this? No. Why does it let me put my hand on that if I can't mess with it? That's weird. You shouldn't be able to click that, to be honest. But yeah, some sort of bug right here that they need to work out. But overall, I'm glad they did this beta to catch things like that. I'm sure that, well, I really hope that would have been caught regardless. But still, I'm sure there's other bugs that people are, excuse me, going to run into, and they can get those fixed. I know they're looking at getting this out this year at some point, at least I'm pretty sure. I don't know what the hell's wrong with my throat. Hold on. But yeah, seems good. Really like it. You guys can let me know your thoughts on this rework in the comments. And I'm going to quickly go over the new weapon diversity stuff. There goes all my sailfish and stuff on the floor. But I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure the things that are on the forum post here are only the new stuff. So I'm going to go over all of them and give my brief thoughts, and I might make a follow-up video to this tomorrow to give some more thoughts on these. But anyways, there are a lot of new effects because there were a lot missing. So let's go over what they have here. So for melee, if you're using short swords, and again, this is the problem with a lot of these, is that these weapons just don't exist at high level. So these effects are going to be negligible if important at all. But short swords will reduce your max hit damage by 1%, but increase your min hit damage by 3%. Stacks to 2% reduced max and 6% increased minimum for dual wielding short swords. So that's just a straight up damage increase. Once again, nothing special with that. Things that are just straight up damage increases are, in my opinion, very, very bad weapon diversity, because it's not diversity at all. There's just going to be one that is the best and the others will be useless. So that's a bad one. Rapiers will have a chance for your abilities in combat to not incur a global cooldown on your next ability, which is 2% with a single or 5% with dual wield. This doesn't seem like it's going to be a good one. It's an interesting effect, but it won't really be something that will give you that great of a DPS boost or that much versatility, especially because a lot of the time I wouldn't be ready for it, and it would probably just fuck up my rotation. I don't know. That one's definitely an interesting idea, but doesn't seem like it'll be something that would be that useful. Hastas will allow you to use two-handed weapon abilities while those are equipped, and I don't really even know how Hastas work. Like, are there offhand Hastas? I don't know, because if so, then you could just use both types of abilities. That seems kind of OP, to be honest. Just because, I mean, if you can fucking like whirlwind and also destroy, like, or don't those share a cooldown? I don't know. Maybe they do, because if then it wouldn't be that useful. I don't know. So I don't know. I don't think there is an offhand version of those. Yeah, it just says slot main hand on the wiki. So yeah, doesn't seem that useful. They only go up to dragon anyways currently, but yeah, that's that. Claws will, this one's long. While wielding claws in the main hand slot, 5% of damage given in a critical hit will be applied as extra damage over time that lasts for 7.2 seconds. While dual wielding claws, the damage is increased to 10%. This is the current scimitar effect that was on the previous weapon diversity beta. So they just took the scimitar effect and put it on the claws. This is, again, if you do the math out, will end up just being a DPS increase that is going to either be better or worse than some other ones. I can't see this one really being that much more versatile than that. Scimitars have been changed such that for every 5% missing health on your target, you have a 0.5% increased critical chance. This effect is then doubled if you're dual wielding scimitars. So if the target is at 5% health, you'll have a 9.5% chance to critically strike With 2 scimitars, this increases to 19%. So pretty significant increase. And that's definitely one of the more interesting ones, although it kind of would encourage more switchscape, which is another thing they're going to have a problem with this weapon diversity. I just don't know how they're going to get around that, because like if this actually ends up being a good effect, people will just switch to the scimitars when their target's on low health and get the benefit from it. So that's that. We have long swords, which when you miss with an attack, you'll gain a 5% accuracy buff for 10 seconds. And if you miss while that buff is active, the countdown is refreshed. I kind of like that one. That's a pretty cool one. That will be useful only at places where your accuracy is low. And yeah, that's a good one. That's definitely one of the better ones of this new set so far. Next up, we have battle axes, which will have you deal 0.5% more damage for every 2% adrenaline above 80%. This effect would apply after adrenaline costs have been taken. What does that mean? Does that mean it will be like if you use a thresh at 100%, it'll only be counting as if you had 85%, probably? And it wouldn't work for ultimates. I think that's what it's saying. Stacks if both weapons are battle axes to 1% for every 2% adrenaline. So at 100% adrenaline, if you have dual wield battle axes, you will be dealing, math is hard, 10% more damage, which is kind of a lot, but I don't think that would be enough to make it not worth using Berserk or stuff like that. And again, this is just a straight up DPS increase, although it would maybe encourage more switchscape if you were going to be maybe switching to battle axes whenever you got above 80% adrenaline. Can you imagine that? That would suck. Next up, we have Warhammers, which say the basic abilities and auto attacks with Warhammers will now hit all enemies around the target you're attacking. This requires the Warhammers to be dual wielded to have this effect. That's another cool effect. I like that one. Basics are AoE, essentially, and so are auto attacks. Definitely a cool one. I like that. That's a good one. All right, we have magic. This is one I talked about already because they posted it yesterday. Your ultimate abilities can no longer miss. Oh, sorry, magic staff right here. Your ultimate abilities can no longer miss, and when you cast an ultimate, you gain 5% accuracy for 20 seconds. And I mentioned yesterday, this will definitely have an impact on where you put your planted feet switch. If it actually ends up being an important thing, you're going to want it on a staff now instead of a wand just because of this. And I don't know, that might be a bit annoying, especially if you're worrying about shields and stuff like that. So, interesting one. I like that one. Although, again, switchscape, I can't tell if they're actually worrying about that or not with these changes. It's kind of hard to tell if they're going to, just not care and just have loads of switchscape be introduced, or if they're actually going to do something about it. But then we have wands. Wands will have a critical strike reduce the cooldown of your magic abilities by 1 second. Kind of an interesting one, although probably won't be that huge of an impact. For orbs, you'll have a 5% chance to save the runes spent when your chosen spell effect occurs. In addition, they'll be making the normal spellbook runes spend runes when their effect happens to be consistent with the ancient spellbook. By the way, if you don't know, all the normal spellbook spells are going to be getting a certain effect with this change, so you can check those out in the older videos where I discussed the other weapon diversity changes. But that makes sense, and it won't be that big a deal, I don't think. But yeah, this was kind of irrelevant, just saves runes, whatever. The book, which I think the best one is the Virtus book. I don't think that goes higher than that. The books will have a 10% multiplicative increased chance for your spell effects to occur, so those make your spell effects occur more often, which I don't think will be that useful unless those normal elemental spell effects end up being, really that great. Next up, we have ranged, where darts will deal 5% or 10% if you're dual wielding more damage to poison targets. Holy shit. That sounds OP, but maybe not. I don't know. 10% more damage to poison targets. I mean, a lot of people are using weapon poison, obviously, and damn, that sounds like it might be really strong. And I like it too, because it's a good little niche for them. Like, some things can't be poisoned, so you couldn't use it there. So definitely a good one. Javelins, also already discussed this one. Will hit all targets between the player and your target for 100% damage dealt to primary target. So basically, if there's an abyssal demon 5 squares away from you, and in between that abyssal demon and you, there's 3 more abyssal demons, and you use an ability, it'll deal the same amount of damage to all the ones in between you and that one to as you dealt to the main one, basically. So it's kind of like AoE in a straight line, but you can kind of figure how it would work. That sounds pretty cool. Definitely an interesting one for Slayer. I like that one as well. And those are all the new ones. They also talk about the changes made to the first batches of weapons from beta number 1. So let's see. They say shield bows now require less adrenaline to activate, but the cost remains unchanged. So a threshold can be triggered at 40%, but will still cost 15%, and an ult can triggered at 80%, but will still use all adrenaline available. Perks and boosts will reduce this as normal. So I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly what the shield bow one was, but that sounds like a buff to me, unless I am mistaken. That sounds like an interesting change. The spear is now has a 40% longer boost time, which is interesting. Maces have been reduced in power, which they were just stupidly OP before. They have now been reduced to 150% and for main hand and 50% for offhand. So I guess that's good. I don't know. Throwing axes will now have a 5% chance to bind your target for 3 seconds, and they've also reduced the Earth Spell's damage boost by 10%. So whole lot of new stuff from this, and I'm glad they listened to us in our, since we were so worried that they were just going to have all these weapons that were left out of this changes and make them essentially useless. But again, there are still far too many that are just straight DPS buffs that are going to be, some are going to be worse than others, meaning they will be useless. So I don't know. Obviously, it would make it a bit more interesting if there were high-level variants of all these weapons, which there certainly aren't. So I don't know how some of those are going to shake out, but still, some of them sound interesting. Again, I could do a follow-up video giving further thoughts on these if I, feel the need for it, or if you guys would like to see it. You can let me know down in the comments below. I think I kind of gave my general opinions on them though pretty well. And again, you can let me know your thoughts on both the new bank stuff and the weapon diversity stuff in the comments. Obviously, I'm way more excited about the bank stuff than this weapon diversity stuff. It just seems like it's gonna, it's not really gonna have that big of an impact, and it's, I don't know, I don't really think it's gonna be that great of an update. Talking about the weapon diversity, but I'm really looking forward to when these bank changes do roll out. Once they've worked out all the bugs like this one where you can just drop all your stuff on the floor and you kind of just get screwed over here. Shit, I overrode it. Does it happen to all my presets? No, it doesn't happen to this preset. What was it about that ROTS preset? Fuck, I shouldn't have overwritten it. Oh no. I don't know what happened with that one where I was just dropping my stuff on the floor. Strange bug, very suspicious. Have I dropped anything? No. Okay, I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to end this video, you guys. It ended up being a pretty long one because I was talking about both of the new things. But again, leave me your thoughts on these in the comments down below, and I will see you all in the next video, which will most likely be for the August month ahead, unless I decide to make something else for these betas. Thanks again, guys, for watching. Peace out.